Let's move to the next step. Next step says that git add and the name of file which you want to add. Now, if you want to add a single file to your repository, what you have to do is just add the name of file. I'll just type git add and the name of file. So in my case, I'm having only a single file, hello world. So what I'll do is hello world.java. So since no message came, that means the action was done successfully. If I'm having, let's say, more files to it, let's say if I created new text file, let's say sample. Now what I want is I want to add all the files. For example, if I'm having 1000 files over here and I want to add all the files at once, so obviously it won't be possible for me, it won't be feasible for me to add each of them individually. So what I'll do is git add space dot star. Git space add space dot space star. That's it. So what it will do, it will add all the repositories for me. Till this point, anyone having any confusion, we just use two commands. One is git init for initializing the repository, empty git repository. Now, since the repository, local repository was empty, what I did, I added hello world.java to it. After that, if I'm having more files, I use git add.star. Using that, all the files which would be there inside the source code folder, all those files would be pushed to my local repository. The last step after doing this, the next step which I shall be doing is git commit -m, and I'll just write first commit. Now remember, if you're making any changes in Microsoft Word, what will happen? You always have to save it, Control S. So just think that commit is the save command over here. So I'm just informing the git inspector that I have added the files, I have done the changes. Now just name this version as the first commit. So using this, now remember I said you that the programmer just has to write his own code, and what he has to do is he just has to tell the git inspector that this is the first version, this is the first version, this is the second version, and all the version controlling would be managed by git system itself. So what I did, I used a command git commit -m. M stands for, -m is an option which stands for message. After that, you have to put certain message with it. So you can write anything, don't write your name, because commit should make certain sense. So I'm writing first commit over here. Just press enter, that's it. What it is telling, two files changed, and so like what happened? So these two files have been inserted. After doing these steps, my local repository is all set with two files in it, that is hello world and sample. So what I'll do, I'll just go to GitHub. So this is my remote repository where I want my code to be pushed. Now what we have to do, just copy the fourth line. Can you all see the fourth line, guys? It says that git remote add origin. So this command will always be same. And this is a link. This is a link of the repository where you want the code to be pushed. So I don't want to create any mistakes over here. So what I did, I just copied this line, Control C, and I'll move to my prompt. What I'll do, I'll just right click over here. You can see paste option. I'll just paste and enter. So what this did, git remote add origin. Now this is similar to git init. Now what I did, I have like a remote repository ABC is created, and I have prepared it. I have said that now I will be pushing code into this. Now what you have to do, the last step is just copy this, Control C, just paste it over here and press enter. Give it some time. So it says that it is compressing and it has pushed. After that, it is telling that writing objects 100%. So it clearly shows that it has transferred all the files to my remote. Now what I'll do, I'll just go back to remote repository. I'll refresh it. Give it some time, guys. You can directly add, like there is an option. I'll just show you that also. Okay, now what happened? Let's say I opened the sample file, and what I did, I wrote, this is just for testing. I'll save it, Control S, and let's close this. Now what I'll do, Let's open this, let's close this also. Now what I'll do, I'll close this also. Now what I did, I made certain changes to my code. What I'll do, I'll again right click on this folder and I'll open git bash here. I don't have to do git init now because already the repository is initialized. Now what I have to do is git add dot start. So what will happen? All the changes which you have made from your last commit to this commit to the present situation, all those changes would be pushed to your local repository. Now what I have to do? The last thing is, now look. Now last thing is git push -u origin master. I don't have to write another command that says, before that, you just have to give another commit message over here. So git commit -m, and this is my second version, let's say. So I'll write second commit over here. Enter. That's it. So it says that one file changed. Look, guys, though you have added all the files, but it is changing only one file, and it is only inserting at that point in which it has trace changes. That's the reason I call it as git inspector, because it knows which thing has been changed from the last point onwards, from the last time you worked with git. So the next thing is you just have to write command git push -u origin master. Now I don't have to write the command git push remote origin add master, because already my repository is created. Already my remote repository is created. What I wanted is, I just wanted to add the changes which I've done to my local repository also and to my remote repository also. So I just added this command git push -u origin master. That's it. Give it some time. So even the changes have been pushed. Now what I'll do, I'll just get back to my GitHub. I'll refresh it. Okay, can you all see now? It is telling that sample.txt second commit, and it is telling 2 commits. Now just imagine the situation of Instagram. For Instagram developers over here, 700 or 720 commits would be shown. Now what Instagram developers will do, they'll just click on these commits. If they want to work with the first version, they'll just click on this one and they'll get the code over here. So these were 2 files, the plain one and the normal one. If I want to go with the latest one, what I'll do, I'll just click on the second commit and I'll get the latest piece of code. So this was the thing which I added. So plus shows insertion and minus shows deletion. One green shows that one insertion has been done. So I hope you all got the point how you can push your code from your local repository to the remote repository using the console. This is called the console, guys. And afterwards, I'll just press exit. So we all have got a clear grasp about Git and GitHub now. Now there are plenty other features also which comes with Git and GitHub, but you don't have to worry. Now thing is, even if you didn't got anything from the lecture, no problem. Because Android Studio is ID, which will just push all the code, all the changes just in a click of one single button. So what I'll do is I'll just open this. I'll just open Android Studio. So you have 2 options, guys. You can use the console. That is, you can go by the way I taught you. For example, let's say if I want to push this my application onto my GitHub account, what I'll do, I'll just click on this app, right click on it, and I'll go to show in Explorer. So show in Explorer now I'll click on this Android Studio project. So this is the folder. This is the folder where all the code about my application 2 is written. What I'll do, I'll just right click on this and I'll put git bash here and then follow the same steps. And then use a console to push the code on GitHub. But there is another way. And that is even better and easier compared to this one. What is that way? Now inside your Android Studio screen, you can see there is an option called VCS. Click on VCS. There is something called import into version control. Click on this and there is something called share project on GitHub. Click on this. In your case, you would be prompted. In my case, it is directly showing me this pop-up, but in your case, it would be prompting you to enter your email address and password for GitHub. Obviously, because you have to connect your GitHub account with this one. Mine one is already connected with my ID, so I don't have to worry about it. So what I'll do is just let the things be same only, don't change anything. Click on share. I clicked on share. Now, what I'll do, I'll just click on this one, Control A, and again you are giving again you are offered an option to write your commit. So if I want to write certain commit to it, I can change the commit. Otherwise, it's okay. Then click on OK. So it says that successfully shared project on GitHub. I'll just close this one. Okay, can you all see it? Successfully shared project on GitHub. I'll just click on this link and it would direct me to my GitHub profile. Now look, all my code is over here. And even I didn't created this repository. It created on its own. Now, what if I want to delete this repository? What I'll do? Obviously, I have to delete. I don't want my code to reveal to each one of you because you all are working on this, right? What I'll do? I'll just click on settings. I'll just go to this repository. I'll click on settings. And over here, I'm having an option which says delete this repository. I'll click on this. Now you have to enter the name of repository in the same case as it is shown to you. For example, this is the name of the repository. And I'll click on understand the consequences, delete this repository. That's it. It is asking me for password. So just enter the password, confirm it, and the repository will get deleted. So that is all about it. And guys, look, this is an addition thing to it. Now, anytime you'll be making certain changes to your code, it will give you an option, add file to Git. If you click on yes, automatically the changes would be pushed to your local repository also and to your remote repository also. Now, inside this VCS, Git, click on Git, you'll get all the options. You can pull, push, rebase, create pull requests. These are the multiple options which are actually the features of using Git and GitHub. You don't have to get into these. Did you got the point? So using Git and GitHub directly from ID is far better than working with the console. But I'll suggest you is get a good hold on console, because when it might be possible that you would be exposed to certain situations. For example, many organizations are using Ubuntu, and many times they subject you to situations in which you would be just seeing a command prompt, nothing else. So at that time, it becomes difficult to work if you're not aware of the command line interface. Apart from these two options, there's another option as well, which is Git GUI. Now, this is just like an application which will be running in your Windows system, and you can easily drag and drop your code over here, and on a click of button, you can also push and pull your code. You can easily work the same way as you work with ID. But again, I'll suggest you work with the console part. And it might be possible that while you will be working with your console part, on configuring, you might be getting certain error. These errors are not new errors. These are something which are encountered by most of the people who are working as the first time users on Git and GitHub. So I'll request you, search on Stack Overflow for resolving these errors. Let's say if Ganesh gave me his GitHub profile link. Let's say his GitHub profile link was /Ganesh/ABC. And I want to bring the same project into my system. What will I do? Nothing. Just go to GitHub. For example, let's say this is the repository which Ganesh submitted. What I'll do, I'll just click on the repository let's say this one. And you all can see option over here, that is clone or download. So click on this. So clone means getting a copy of the project. So you can clone any public repository on GitHub. Now Git is something which is beyond your imagination of like how much you can like. For example, if I'll say and like just assign some score to Git, and you would be assigning 3 or 4 to 5, 3 or 4 out of 5. But that is something you're underrating it, because there is another feature of Git which is called branching. Now I'll just tell you the feature how it actually branches the code. What happens? For example, let's say this was the Instagram developer. He wrote certain code on his system and he pushed the code onto GitHub. On this GitHub, a branch is created, which is called master branch. Which is called what? Master branch. If you all were seeing the console while I was working, while I was pushing my code from console, you all must have seen something called master or origin over there. Didn't you all see that? And even when I was pushing my code from Android Studio, you were able to see origin over there. So origin is the default branch, which comes with every repository. So what I said, the Instagram developer pushed his code on GitHub, and all his code, let's say, for example, you must have seen trees, right? So the default node is called the root of the tree, and all the branching starts from here only, right? Let's say like etc. etc. So what I said, let's say he pushed certain code on GitHub, and all the code was grouped under master origin. Now another stories, let's say Instagram stories were introduced. Then let's say some more filters were introduced. Now what happened? After doing all these things, what they found, they introduced another feature to it. Now let's say on some day, what they found, they thought these filters are not used by many people. So let's remove them. But one of the core developers said that no, we should not stop the development of these features. We should not eradicate them. What we shall do is we shall work upon them and we shall make them more sophisticated. We can evolve them further, right? So now that was all fine. So he said, let's work with these further. But one of the developers said that, guys, I want to work with the previous version. I don't want to work with this one. Now the problem is, now the senior developer said that, come on, you both of you start working on the project and do as you wish. That is not thing which is normally told in software industry, but he said, come on, go and use your project, like start the way you want it. Now what happened? A was the one who wanted to start from this point, and B was the person who wanted to start from this point. Now A introduced certain changes and committed the code. Now what will happen? The commit will come over here. Now just imagine the situation. The whole thing will become confused. You won't be able to get anything out of it. There is some option which is known as branching. So the senior developer, what's the SDE? The SDE person said that don't commit to the same branch, rather create a new branch. Now what will happen? All the development which A will do, it would be pushed onto a different branch. And all the development which B would be doing, it would be continued on the same branch. So in this way, you can manage the source code which is written by both of the developers in a different manner. That's the reason whenever you push your code finally, it always asks you to mention certain branch. In your case, 99% time you would be working on the same branch. So that's the reason I've hard coded the commands for you. Just use the same commands only. Otherwise, if you want to create a new branch, you can do that also. Just push origin rather than using the origin master. You have to give the name of the branch to. So that is the first terminology which is given over here. The repository's main branch, depending on the workflow, it is the one people work on or the one where the integration happens. And remember, if some another branch was created, like let's say like over here, so you can also merge this branch with this one. But remember, after merging, you will always be having a single branch. Got the point? Okay, let's move further. So as I taught you about the master, I taught you what is clone. After that, then something called commit. This also we looked at. Now there's something which is called fork. For example, what happened? I went to Linux. Now Linux is I went to Linux repository. Now what I did, I created a new file. So what you did, let's say you went to GitHub profile of Linus Torvalds, you open the Linux repository and there is an option over there which says that create new file. You clicked on that file and what you did, you added a new file into the repository. Now just imagine the situation. If there are infinite contributors, so there would at a single time, infinite files would be created. So to avoid that, what GitHub did, they created something called fork. Now what happens in fork, if you want, whenever you will be creating certain file onto this repository, what GitHub will do, let's say this is Manohar's GitHub repository. What GitHub will do, Manohar will go to this Linux and he'll create a new file. But this Linux file won't be, but this new file won't be created onto this repository. In fact, the whole Linux project will come to Manohar's profile. And inside his project, inside his copy of Linux project, he will see a file, which is the file which he created over there. So this is something called fork. There are plenty other commands also. So push is something which you have seen. Then branching also I have explained you. Remote is also something which I've explained you. Push I've explained. Fetch I've explained. Fetch and pull. Now there are two different things, fetch or pull. Now what happens, for example, Ashad, remember one thing. After Manohar got the Linux repository in his own terminal, in his own GitHub profile, and let's say he created a new file. Now Manohar is working on this copy of the project. Now how will Linus Torvalds come to know whether someone is adding some new changes to the profile? What will happen? There is something called pull request. So the moment he will add some changes to it, Linux, the owner of this repository will get a one over here. And the moment he'll click on this one, he'll get to know Manohar's name and the changes which he has done. If he thinks that the change is right, he can merge it. Otherwise, he can reject it. And while rejecting, he can also provide certain comments to it. So you all can see over here. Just look at the pull request. So there are 270 pull requests. So all these things, all these are the suggestions which different people have provided. Guys, that's it about Git and GitHub. So I hope like you all were clear about Git and GitHub. So that was all about it, guys. Thank you so much for your patience. Bye-bye.